what is your favorite thing about the new trailer?
I like that it has a bathroom, so I don't have to rush to the bathroom when I have to go pee. And I also like the freezer, so I can have popsicles.
How the heck did you make that happen?
It's magic.
So this is our second time staying at Arrowhead Provincial Park, and one of the first things that we were blown away that's different than other provincial parks is the size of the campsites here. Provincial parks notoriously have bigger campsites, but even compared to Bon Echo, where we've gone every year that we've had a trailer, Arrowhead really has blown us away in terms of site size. I think it's the largest we've ever experienced, and I'll show you in a second. I'll take you around the site just to see how big it is. But why it works out really, really well this week is Danielle's sister and brother-in-law are going to be camping, and they've set up, as you can see, the tent right here. They've set up on our site, and we have more than enough room to house that, plus our vehicle, their vehicle, and our trailer, which is pretty fantastic. And when you talk about private sites, that is not something that you normally see. So this is just a quick tour of our site to see how big it is. So when you come on, there's room to back our trailer in there. You can see that we've added in the tent this time. And they'll be staying at. Get our fire pit over here. And one thing that Arrowhead really has blown us away is the amount of green space that you have behind us. You can't see the campsite anywhere near us. And so as I pan around here, you're not going to see another trailer, and especially because of the time of year that we've come, you actually don't hear anything except for nature. And of course the chips that are being munched on in our trailer right now. But there's plenty of green space in behind, which is something that we really, really enjoy. We are the last site on the row that we're at. We're the last site, and you can just barely see the road there, but we don't hear a lot of noise from it because of the amount of green space in between here and the road. Just a truly fantastic park. One of the things they also do here is they stagger the sites. So where our site comes out, you've got to go down the lane a little bit to find the next site, which is on the opposite side. And they stagger this way all the way down the laneway. As you see, it is a pretty idyllic setting. If you're looking for nature, you'll get lots of it. If you're looking to be able to enjoy some peace and quiet, you get a little bit more of that too, because even when the park is full in the summer, I can't imagine it's going to be that much noisier with all this space in between. What's also interesting is the site that we picked, as large as it is, we actually chose the smallest trailer length size in the park. So they start at 18 feet, which is what we used to have to pick for our little Trillium trailer. But since we've upgraded to the Apex Nano, which is I think 22.5 feet, because of the way that Ontario Provincial Parks measures their sites out, an 18-foot rated site is more than enough space, because they factor in the tow vehicle on the front side and still give you a little bit more space. So we've never had an issue staying with the smaller trailer size rating in Ontario Provincial Parks. We have plenty of space, and so it's funny to think how large this site is, and yet it is one of the smallest rated ones. One thing we also found out this year too, which is kind of unique because we don't see this at Ontario Provincial Parks, is they have a little area of probably about maybe 6 to 8 sites that are designated for pull-through trailers. so much larger rigs can fit in. It's a pretty natural setting. It's not like a private park where they're hemmed in like sardines. There's obviously less space than there would be here, but what's kind of cool about it is actually all of those sites feature water hookup as well, which would be kind of handy. And you know, as much as we like the setting here, we looked at that, and not having to take the jerry cans and go fill up the water midway through the week was kind of attractive. So as you can see the sun coming out, I think I can do it with the jerry cans over having a site that's a little bit closer to another camper. So talk to me a little bit about how we became Trailer Trash.
It started, we've been going to Wolf Island for a few years, tent camping, going in the tent area where the music festival was, and it was fine. But the problem we ran into is we didn't sleep, Millie didn't sleep, and after, was it about 2 or 3 years tent camping and listening to people make tons of noise all the way through the night, we realized that this wasn't going to work with a young family. So then one year we moved outside the tent area into an area where they were calling it hush camping, which essentially was supposed to be for families. We borrowed my best friend's tent, and we arrived at the camp to torrential downpour and us trying to set up a very wet, poorly designed tent in downpouring rain. And we spent a good chunk of that trip staying soaking wet inside the tent. So I think it was about halfway through the trip at that point, I said that if we were ever going to be coming back to this festival, we'd have to find some other way of figuring out sleep. And that was originally thinking, oh, we'll just try and go back and forth to Kingston, we'll stay in a hotel, we'll just take the ferry back and forth. And then on our ride back in line, leaving that camp that weekend, we saw, which I think was a scamp, but basically a small egg trailer. Somebody had a for sale sign on. So we asked the family about it, we peeked inside, took their number, and the conversation the entire way back was rekindling the idea that we wanted to have a trailer. The scamp trailer, that style, like the egg trailer, bowler, Trillium, scamp trailer, had been something that John had been talking about since we started dating, because one of his neighbors had a bowler, and it was always in his mind that he always wanted to have one of those little vintage trailers. They're perfect for a family of 3, and we spent a good chunk of the next year looking and loosely trying to research what was involved in getting one of these trailers, and basically trying to figure out which model was which ones we were gonna get. So fast forward a year later, we were due to once again go to Wolf Island, and we were still in a position where we were gonna be tent camping. And it was almost like a happy accident. With a bit of help of John's parents, we started looking at small trailers. And we came across our little egg trailer, our 1300 Trillium 1980 trailer, on Kijiji for an amazing price, great condition, and so started our venture down becoming what we jokingly call trailer trash. So that was how we came to become trailer owners.
So it's super funny, as one of the first photos that we saw when we were looking at places to camp up in the Muskokas near where Danielle's sister lives in Bracebridge, we found Arrowhead Provincial Park. And this is actually one of the first photos that we saw, was this oxbow lake that you see in behind me here. And we spent an entire week here last year and didn't realize until after we left that we didn't find this. So we came back this year and found it. So this is one of our favorite things about this campground is the Stubbs Falls, which the walk into it, as you can see, is pretty disgusting. You can hear the falls as you're approaching, but it's a big path that leads up to it that's covered in pine needles. Pretty easy to navigate, but it's just a nice walk through the woods, and then you come around the corner to where the falls are, and you're surprised with a pretty magnificent sight, which you'll see in a few seconds here. Hopefully that paints the picture of why we love Arrowhead Provincial Park in the heart of the Muskokas, 2.5 hours north of Toronto, so much. We had an amazing week filled with family memories and would absolutely recommend camping here. We chose to camp here a year ago because of how close it was to Danielle's sister, and returned there this year because of that. But truth be told, we would camp there again in a heartbeat, even if family didn't live nearby, as there's just so much to do in this area. This park was the maiden trip in our new trailer last year, so it was really nice to be able to return and think about how much our camping style has changed. Or should I say glamping style. Regardless of how much roughing it we're not doing with this fancy new trailer, there's no way that we camp that doesn't include ending as many days as we can outside by the campfire under a sky blanketed with the stars, because that was the goal when we started the trailer life, to create days like these and end them with a bonfire. Happy camping, everyone.
Thank you for watching our video. I hoped you liked it. Please subscribe and press the notification bell so you'll know every time we post a video.